Hey everybody, hope you had a fantastic holiday. Today's topic is going to be time travel. And are you a time traveler? It's a little bit of a silly topic, but it's all about learning to stay present. How much of your day is spent looking in the rearview mirror at your past? How much of your day is spent rehashing the things that your brother or sister or family or kids at school did to you and reliving those experiences over and over and over again? You know, I've explained this in the past as watching the movies in our head of what we think happened to us in the past. That's like going into the movie theater, having 12 or 24 movies to choose, and you're always going into the one that's always the movie called Dan's Messed Up Life. Right? Dan's messed up past. And so if you are spending the vast majority of your time looking backwards at all the bad things that have ever happened to you and reliving them and getting upset about them over and over and over again, and in your head complaining about the mother that you wish you had or the childhood that you wish you had, you are time traveling. You are literally time traveling. And unfortunately, you're traveling back to a time when things were not quite so rosy. And so I would encourage you not to do that. Now, there is also time traveling looking forward to the future. And that can be beneficial or it can be problematic as well. So if you are thinking about the future and catastrophizing and fearing the worst, well, that time travel is probably not doing you much service either, just like looking back at all the horrible stuff. Look, looking backwards sometimes can be fun, reminiscing with friends, family over the holidays and laughing about some childhood funny situations. Yeah, that's great. But if you're spending the vast majority of your day looking backwards at all the things that you had to suffer through and that you wish were different and you're reactivating those experiences, not a good thing. Same thing about the future. If you are worried about what the future holds for you and you spend the vast majority of your days catastrophizing and saying, well, if this is my today and my physical symptoms are so bad, what's my future going to be like? Am I going to be wheelchair bound, housebound? Am I going to be sick for the rest of my life? You're time traveling and you are projecting yourself and watching a movie of yourself in this messed up future. So now you're in that movie theater with 12 options, and now you're going into movie theater 12, which is Dan's screwed up future. Dan's horrible, pain-filled future. So, time traveling. How much of your day are you spending time traveling? And how much of your day is actually spent in the right here and the right now? I was saying before, and I got off track, but you can time travel in a very useful way. If you start to visualize the future that you actually want, visualize how you're going to navigate the world and how you're going to show up. Visualize yourself returning to a fully engaged life where you can re-engage socially, mentally, physically, get back out in the world and do those things that are most meaningful to you, whether that be returning to work, whether that be returning to socializing with friends or family, whether that be traveling. Envisioning and time traveling to that can be very useful. Just like reminiscing on old laughters and fun and great experiences can be useful too, it can kind of lift us up. I know I whenever I see an old friend, I got a friend from when I was a year and a half old and we're still good friends 52 and a half years later. When we reminisce about growing up and the things we did as kids, that's great. Always makes me feel good. But inevitably, if I were to spend much time reminiscing on some of the traumas of my childhood, it's not so useful. So, are you time traveling? How much of your day? Take a look back at yesterday and literally say, how much of yesterday was spent traveling forward or backwards? And if you did, how much of that was focused on the negative as opposed to stepping out of that time travel and saying, you know what, I'm just going to be right here. Because honestly, right here is the only thing we've got. The only thing we really have is the present. The past does not exist. It's just a memory or a movie playing in your head of what you actually think happened. And the future doesn't exist either, right? It's just a thought in your head, or a vision or a movie playing in your head of what you either hope to have happen or what you fear will happen. And for anybody who says, well, I'll be happy when the pain is gone, but right now I've got a lot of pain, so I can't be happy. Right, so what you're saying is, I'll be happy tomorrow. I'll be happy when something happens, but you're never in tomorrow. You know, it's like those people who are saying, oh, I'll be happy when I retire from my job. Then I can relax, I can travel, I can play golf, I can hang out with the grandkids, but right now I gotta be miserable because I have to work. I'll be happy when I retire. You know, don't put off happiness. Tomorrow never comes. And I don't mean that like you're gonna die today. What I mean is, it's never gonna be tomorrow. So you gotta choose happiness today. You gotta choose to be present right now, today. You just gotta look around and realize it. Okay, observe what's going on. And what you will invariably find is that what I just taught in the anxiety video is that you're a lot safer than your reptilian fear-based brain is letting you believe. So, are you time traveling? Do an evaluation, really. Sit down with a piece of paper and say, how much of yesterday was I looking backwards? And of that, how much of it was looking backwards at the bad stuff? And how much of my day is looking forwards? And how much of that forward thinking is based on a visualization of a future you can fall in love with? Or how much of that visualization of the future is this horrible, horrible, depressing, pain-filled, catastrophic life? And then, if you're finding that a lot of your mental energy is being put towards the past or the future bad stuff, you really got to make a choice as to whether or not that's serving you, whether or not that is helping you, whether or not you want to continue to do that. Like, look, if you hate horror movies, why are you going into the horror movie every single day and watching it 15 times a day? Dan's horrible past, or Dan's horrible childhood, or Dan's horrible future. You know, and then wondering why you're coming out all stressed out and anxious. We do have a choice. We can choose to say, oh, I'm noticing, I'm thinking about a bad future. And you can either choose to visualize a better future, or you can choose to just get present. Engage with the people around you. How often have you found yourself sitting in a room full of people and you're not even there? Mentally, you're just not there. You're not paying attention. Somebody will say, hey, Dan. And I'll be like, what? Were you talking to me? Because we can get so lost in our own thoughts about our past and our future and what we didn't like in the past and what we don't want to have happen in the future that we're not even present. So, time travel. I'm going to wrap this one up. But really think about it. How much of your time is spent looking at the past and looking at the future, and how much of that is bad versus the good stuff? And I would encourage you to make a decision. And last thing I want to point out is awareness. It's going to be a central theme to what I'm teaching, is that if you're not aware and you're going through life on autopilot, meaning you're not even consciously aware of your thoughts, it's going to be tough to make changes. So awareness, you're going to start hearing me refer to this as like the blanket that overlays all of this work, so to speak. And yeah. Stop looking behind you and forward into all the awful stuff that is behind you and all the awful stuff you fear is ahead of you. Get present. Become aware when your mind is drifting and when you start to time travel. And get into right now. That's what matters. So, love you guys and gals. We will talk to you in the next video.